All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We are back for another holiday travel forecast for you. It is noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're doing an encore live stream to give you the updates for the travel. I mean, I know it's going to be very busy these next couple of days and into the holiday weekend. So we wanted to provide you with another travel update, make sure we have the latest information in so that you can get all of that, get the forecast out of the way so that you are ready to go to hit the road or sky today or sometime this weekend too, as we get into the Christmas holiday this weekend. So I'm going to be going over a few things because it is actually quite a busy day for the weather world, and it continues to get busier throughout the weekend actually. So we've got a lot to cover. Drop any of your questions that you may have about your travel. Be as specific as you can too, as far as like, where you're headed, where you're coming from, so that I can let you know your best forecast too. So just give me all the details you can. And say, hey, so happy to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in for this holiday travel forecast. We hope to help you get to your destination safely, so you can cozy up and have a nice holiday weekend. So grab any holiday cookies or desserts or anything you might want for this live to tune in and just get to know exactly what the forecast is going to be over these next couple of days as you hit the roads and skies. And send the link to anybody that you know is traveling too. If you've got loved ones heading to your house, send the link to them so they know that their best route is covered in this forecast, so that we can give them the best forecast they can get. So once again, I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get started here. I'll make sure everything's cool on my end. Awesome. All right. Great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and drop those questions in the comments. I did add a few things into the comments already. You can download the app. It's completely for free, and you can go over the tools that I'm going to be going over today so you can get those ready to go for your travel. Also, we're on Android Auto. So this is a great tool to use if you're in the car, you got a holiday road trip coming up here and you have Android Auto capabilities. Tap on the Weather Radar app in there, and you'll see exactly what you see behind me on the screen is the weather radar or the rain radar, and you'll see exactly where you are located and what weather is around you on your route. So that's going to be very helpful as you hit the road for your holiday road trip this weekend. All righty. So we are good to go. Tech is great. Perfect. So what you see behind me here, this is the weather radar. This is the map that we're going to be looking at today for the most part. And we can see what the current weather is across the U.S. We can see we got some 3 separate systems happening here across the U.S. We've got something going on here in the Pacific Northwest that we're going to get into, the Southwest, as well as the Midwest here. We got, actually along the entire Mississippi Valley, we've got some rain showers happening here too. We'll move from east to west so that we can give you the latest information too. So those of you having lunch right now in the east, happy to tune in during this lunch hour with you so you can get the latest information. Let me make sure that this is nice and zoomed in for you. Perfect. Here we go. Alrighty, so this is the weather radar. Like I said, you can see cloud cover, you can see rain, you can see where it's sunny out, what the temperatures are. You can see if there's snow or frozen precipitation as well. So it's, got a lot of information all in one stop shop here that you can use completely for free on your Weather and Radar app. So what we're going to be getting into here is the eastern U.S. for today and what that looks like. The eastern U.S. is relatively quiet. As you can see, we've got some, spotty clouds in the area all the way from Florida to the southern portions of the Northeast and into the Ohio Valley before we get into that storm system area here. But for today, travel looks pretty good across the eastern U.S. today. Got some spotty showers, racing up from Florida here. Nothing too crazy though. The lighter the blue, the lighter the shower activity. So that's something good you want to see. If you are heading into rainfall, it's lighter. Same thing here across the Appalachians here into West Virginia. Some spotty showers, but nothing crazy. So you should have a pretty decent travel day here in the eastern U.S. Throughout the rest of the day today, depending on when you're leaving too. You never know. If you're leaving overnight, I've done the same thing before for a road trip. You want to pay attention to what it's going to be overnight as well, because we have that added factor of it being dark. So if it is rainy, if it's snowy, we just have that added factor of it being dark and lower visibility. So you want to pay close attention to that. So let's go over this storm system that is sitting here across the Mississippi Valley and up into the Midwest here. So what this is showing is we've got rain showers stretching all the way from southern Texas up into the upper Great Lakes. We have some snow showers happening in Michigan's Upper Peninsula up here as well. Not surprising to see for this time of year. So we do have the lighter showers that are happening in the lighter blue hues across the area, but the heavier showers are those darker colors. So that's something you want to keep an eye out for if you're driving or if you're about to hit the skies, you're about to get on a plane. Don't be surprised if there's some delays due to weather. That always happens this time of year, especially, right? Where we got colder weather moving in, got either rain or snow. Just don't be surprised if there's some delays due to that. So we have the heavier showers here that you can see across the Midwest later this afternoon across the area here. So the darker the blue, the heavier the shower. And so that might be a time too where you want to pull off. If you see some really low visibility due to the rainfall, that might be a time to pull off and just take a little bit of a break so that you can get back on the road safely afterwards after it's passed. One big thing that has been happening the past couple of days and will be moving off eventually by the first half of the weekend is a southwestern storm that's been hitting Southern California. And now moving into the southwest, we've already see here we've got the rain and snow and even thunderstorm activity across the area here. This is a low pressure system that's been causing a lot of trouble across Southern California, especially the last 2 days, where they've seen up to 10 inches in isolated spots of rainfall, especially in the mountains, and then up to 8 inches in spots as well in the lower lying areas of rain, just because it's a consistent rainfall. We've got the Pacific Ocean providing all of the moisture that this system needs, and the counterclockwise turn of this system is pushing the moisture out of the Pacific Ocean right on land. And what happens when you have moisture moving over land is it lifts and it condenses. That's how you see the clouds, and then you get rain showers once it lifts higher and higher and fully saturates. So that's why we see the rain showers happening here across the southwest. It's going to be moving into the southern portions of the Great Basin in the Four Corners area later today. And this is actually moving in there right now as well into central Arizona. We've got some heavy rain showers. Let me show you too here. We talked about the blue hues when it comes to heavy rain showers. Look how dark they get. And even they get into the purple colors when they're a super heavy rain shower. Now the pink is the snowfall. You can see the pink happening here in the higher elevations. You got some snowfall happening Flagstaff and just southeast of that as well. So this is going to be a busy weather day across the area. There is a chance for flash flooding. Let me get into that really quick and what the National Weather Service shows for that situation. Bring that over. Alrighty, so this is the Weather Prediction Center's excessive rainfall outlook, and this is for today. We do have a slight risk, as much as a slight risk, which is a level 2 out of 4 on the excessive rainfall scale. And what that means is we could see scattered to isolated areas having flash flooding issues. Now, there could be anywhere between 1 and 2 inches of rain here across the area today, and for many of us that may not sound like a huge amount, but this is the desert. And although they do get rain, they don't get rain that often. And so when it does rain like that, especially within 24 hours, getting that much rain, up to 2 inches in 24 hours, in a desert especially, the ground does have a harder time soaking in that water. And so it leads to runoff, flash flooding, things of that nature as well. And if you already know that you're in an area with poor drainage and you know that street puddling is very common in your area, that's going to be likely as well from this rainfall. So something you really want to keep an eye out today. So that stretches from Southern California all the way into southeastern Arizona, and then just touches New Mexico here with a marginal risk. Marginal risk is a level 1 out of 4 on this scale, and it denotes the isolated risk for flash flooding and excessive rainfall in that area. So not out of the question here into southwestern New Mexico. Alrighty. And I do want to point out one more thing here as well. It talks about thunderstorm activity, and I'll point out what that looks like on the weather radar. The thunderstorm activity is happening here across the southwest into the desert areas as well. We could see some isolated thunderstorms in this area, isolated severe thunderstorms. And what it takes for it to be severe is it takes at least gusts reaching 57 miles per hour or higher, and then hail as well. And that's what we see today. We see the chance for hail in this area. And then we also have the chance for gusty winds. So most of you probably have holiday decorations outside. Just make sure they're nice and secure before you have a gusty storm come through. And that goes for anybody who's going to be having some wind in their forecast here over the next couple of days. We've got plenty of decorations outside, right? You've got, maybe blow up decorations as well that can easily fly away in the wind. Just make sure they're nice and secure should the gusty winds do come through. So keep a close eye on that as well. And I'll show you a tool you can use on the Weather and Radar app for that. So we do see here across the National Weather Service map here, we have a we have a flood watch across this entire area, really spanning across much of the Southwest, and then we have the winter storm and winter weather advisories in the higher elevations as well from this system. So it is been a busy past couple of days here across the Southwest, and it continues today. And we're really going to see this evolve over the next couple of days too, as this storm does progress over to the east. So we're going to see some of that energy gets transferred into becoming another storm system. So let me go back to the weather radar and I'll show you what that's going to look like. So I talked about the wind radar. Let me show you what that looks like right now. The wind radar is a really great tool, especially if you're on a road trip. So if you've got a high profile vehicle, a large van, an RV, anything like that, some kind of camper, or when you're in a semi truck or some kind of large truck, you've probably felt before how when gusty winds are hitting that it kind of rocks, and that can be pretty dangerous. So in areas that are going to be receiving some gusty winds, you really want to pay attention to the wind radar, and that's what these are right here. So the lighter the green, the lighter the wind gusts, but the more orange colors you get into, darker orange, you get into red, even into pink. That means we've got some higher wind gusts happening across that area. And you can see that happening here as the storm system does progress. We got some higher elevation gusty winds happening. So we've got gusts near 30 miles an hour in these areas that are in the higher elevations as the storm system does move through. So you really want to keep an eye out for this kind of thing as the storm system does progress. Let me double check for any questions we might have at this point. Awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's move into the Pacific Northwest. So we've already got a storm system moving on in, a frontal system moving on in, bringing heavy showers, heavy rainfall, and mountain snow in these Cascades here as well. So this is going to continue progressing eastward over the next couple of days as well. So you can see that this afternoon, getting close to lunchtime here in the Pacific time, that's what this looks like. We've got some really heavy snowfall happening across the Cascades all the way down into southern Oregon. And that's going to continue throughout the rest of today and move into the northern Rockies, bringing the chance for a white Christmas across the mountain areas. So how nice for this area. So you do have the snowfall that's going to be happening here. The darker the pink, the heavier the snowfall, which means that travel is not going to be very easy across these passes. So chain restrictions are likely to be in place. Even road closures are likely to be in place, especially as these winds pick up and as the snow picks up. The visibility can drop very quickly when we've got snowfall moving in here, especially if it's dark out too. So make sure you do have a winter emergency kit in your vehicle before you hit the road. It's going to be so important to have, and no matter where you're driving to. It's so important to have because you never know what could happen on the road. And it's nice to make sure you have non-perishable foods, blankets, flashlights, batteries, water, things like that, and chains, and even a tire replacement toolkit as well. Maybe some an air pressure toolkit as well for your tires. So really something to pay attention to as we head into this busy season of winter, which we just had the solstice yesterday. So we are indeed in winter. We're also getting more light back, which is awesome. We get 1 more second back today on average across the U.S. So that's awesome. All right, let's get into what Saturday looks like. Still pretty busy across this area. So those of you who are heading out, hitting the roads, hitting the skies on Saturday, you're really going to want to pay close attention to the weather radar because we got a storm system moving in across the west, and then we also have the rain showers from this storm system moving in across the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and into the lower Mississippi Valley here as well. So it's a pretty busy Saturday when it comes to just being a regular Saturday, but you're also adding travel in, so really something you want to pay attention to. All right, let's move forward in time. This is still before sunrise, so let's get right into when the sun starts coming up. It's about 8 a.m. Eastern time, so we still got some rain showers sticking across here due to this weak low pressure system that is moving across the area. So it's got clouds, obviously. That's why we got the cloudiness really extending across much of the eastern half of the U.S. And then a lot of rain, and then maybe some mixed precipitation moving in as well in those areas that are cooler. So you got the Scranton area getting into northern New Jersey. We're ready at freezing at that point, and some mixed precipitation could be coming in across the area before the temperatures do rise later in the morning. Something you want to keep an eye out for if you are planning on hitting the road early. Could be a little slick on the roads, so just pay close attention to that. The big weather maker is what I want to pay attention to for Saturday, because this is really going to be defining the whole holiday weekend for us. The weather world stays pretty active even through the holidays. So we've got a storm system that's going to be developing out of these two frontal systems. So we had that storm system across the southwest that we're currently seeing today. Well, that's going to evolve and move eastward. And we also have a frontal system that moved across. Obviously today it's moving into the northwest today, but moving eastward to tomorrow. And a low pressure trough is going to be coming down as well. That's going to be inching itself deeper and deeper into the western U.S., which causes a lot of disruption because we have a high pressure across the eastern U.S. that it is going to run into. And what that means is you've got circulation counterclockwise and then clockwise. So they run into each other in that area, and we're going to see the eruption of a storm system this weekend as it does evolve. So tomorrow, anyone traveling over the Rockies, having any flights that are going to be over the Rockies, you're likely going to be seeing some delays due to the snowfall that's happening as this storm system does evolve. White Christmas, though, across these areas, which is very nice. But it comes at a price for those traveling. So you do want to take it slow and keep an eye on the weather radar as you're going. We do have some shower and thunderstorm activity, too, that's happening across the southern plains tomorrow. This is the 3 p.m. time tomorrow, so this is going to be mid-afternoon. Those of you that are hitting the roads, pay attention to the heavy rainfall and the thunderstorm activity. But we're going to continue seeing this evolve on the weather radar. You can see the storm system really come together on the warm side, which is obviously the rain, and the cold side, which where we got the snow. Let me move out a little bit here. So this is what it looks like, and this is what it's going to look like by tomorrow night, late tomorrow night, where we got a just stream of straight moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico moving all the way up into the northern tier, and then on this back side here, we've got the snowfall happening here as well. So a pretty large storm system that's coming together where we're likely to see gusty winds, the heavy rainfall, some downpours, flash flooding issues possibly as well, and even some isolated severe weather. We're going to keep an eye out for that as well. And this is tomorrow night. Let's get into what Christmas Eve looks like. This is that storm system again where we're going to be seeing just heavy rainfall. This is 7 a.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. Pacific, where the rain just keeps on coming all the way up through here. So this is a slow moving kind of system here, where we got the snow showers on the back cold end here. And then obviously behind it's going to be even colder air as well, so make sure you bundle up. Those of you who are heading to the northern high plains or anything like that to see family or friends this weekend, bundle up. Bring plenty of coats, sweaters, and all of that. And then for the areas that are going to be receiving the rainfall, make sure you're packing your rain gear, umbrellas, raincoats, and rain boots and all of that, because you're going to be seeing heavy showers move through much of the Christmas Eve day. So this is going to continue on throughout the day as the storm system evolves. So this is going to be a pretty busy storm system. Those of you who are waiting until Christmas Eve to fly out, drive out, really want to pay attention to this midsection of the U.S. because we got this storm system just moving all the way up into the northern tier. So a lot of you I know want to take a look at what Christmas will be like, especially. So let's take a look at that really quick. You can see it up to 4 days in advance on the weather radar, which is pretty neat. Christmas, we have this storm system very nicely evolved. This is noon Eastern time, where we've got that heavy rainfall extending all the way from the Florida Panhandle across Tennessee and lower Ohio Valley, well into the upper Midwest, and then you got that back end snowfall as well. So this is going to be really busy here. Christmas Day. Those of you who like to take Christmas Day walks, just make sure you bundle up or you bring your umbrella as well. So it's going to be, busy, but actually pretty mild on the rainy side here. So for Christmas Day, we've got 60s stretching all the way down to the southern tier, 50s all the way into Chicago. So we've got some mild temperatures that are going to be spreading throughout the eastern part of the U.S. For Christmas Day. So those of you who are gifting sweaters and all of that and big coats, they'll be put off for a couple of days, but don't worry, we got plenty of winter to go. And then on the back end, obviously, we've got that colder air. So northern high plains getting into the Rockies too. You got the teens, 20s. It's a cold Christmas Day. So it's really going to feel like Christmas and really feel like winter on Christmas Day across the area, especially because you just got fresh snowfall as well. So you got the white Christmas, which will be very nice for that area. So we do want to pay close attention to this, because this does extend all the way into the rest of Christmas Day, where it's just rainy and busy, and it goes all the way through into Tuesday as well. Obviously, it moves off into the east on Tuesday. Let's take a look at the wind radar too. I just want to make sure that we're covering that as well, to see, just how gusty these winds are going to get, especially for those who are going to be flying, that could be seeing some issues. So up to 30, 40 mile an hour gusts across these areas that are going to be having that storm system. You can see the circulation of low pressure right here. So that is circulating right here across Iowa. And this is pulling moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico. And it's plentiful moisture. It's warm, it's saturated air, which is going to cause that rainfall. And it's going to feed it very easily, this storm system. So you're going to see some gusty winds as well into this as the storm system does evolve. Even down in here into the southern Appalachians and the Smoky Mountains here, you got some gusty winds in the higher elevations. So remember what I said earlier, for those of you who have high-profile vehicles, pay close attention if you're passing over the mountains. 40, 50 mile an hour gusts are very possible as the storm system evolves through Christmas Day, Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. Alrighty. That was a lot of information. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. I hope you have a great holiday season. I hope this travel forecast also helped very much for you to plan. Be sure to tune in to our YouTube page when we have big events going on. There's so many big weather events that are going to be happening throughout the winter, likely. So we want to pay close attention and keep you all very safe and well informed here at Weather and Radar. So please tune into those when we are providing them. We'll be here on YouTube. And one more thing, I did mention earlier how we have the Android Auto feature. So I want to show what that looks like here. You can go to the Weather and Radar app and pull up what that looks like. We have it all the way here on the home page. Let me pull this up really quick. Here we go. Right on the home page here, you can see it once it pulls up. And the Android Auto feature, if you have the Weather and Radar app, it's also free to use right on your vehicle. So be sure to take advantage of that if you do have Android Auto. So I do want to show this really quick. So Android Auto is going to be a really good tool to use while you're on your road trip. You can see all the different precipitation that's happening in your area while you're on your drive. There's going to be a dot on the screen showing where you are, and it'll also show you what's around, and you can zoom in and zoom out as this does evolve. So we have a YouTube video showing exactly how to use the Android Auto feature for Weather and Radar, and you'll be able to zoom in, zoom out, see the weather around you for your road trip. It's the perfect time to get to know it because we just launched this year. We are the weather app that is on Android Auto, so be sure to check us out right on that provided service in your vehicle. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have happy holidays. Please make sure you download the Weather and Radar app for all the latest updates, and we'll see you here soon.